Well, hello once again. This is me, Leonard, broadcasting as usual and as ever from Haslingden, 30 miles or 50 kilometres due north of Manchester in the UK on Wednesday, the 21st of September 2011. I want to talk today about hard drugs, as we refer to them. And I've been reading a book called Seeds of Terror. Seeds of Terror, written by a lady called Gretchen Peters. And it's all about the heroin industry, which is largely the problem caused by poppy growing in Afghanistan. 90% or more of the world's heroin comes from Afghanistan, and most of it finds its way to Western Europe, whereas in the United States they have a problem with cocaine. We have a problem with heroin, and because drugs are illegal, there is a big risk attached to dealing in them. You go to jail and whatever. In some countries you get executed. So the price is very, very high. In fact, the stuff's worth more than gold. And when you have something like that, which is worth so much money, and the poppies which are grown in Afghanistan, despite the fact that there are thousands upon thousands of NATO troops there, including thousands of our troops, they don't seem able to stop it. They won't grasp the nettle and stop it, even though it's hurting and killing our young people over here. Now, you would think in a Muslim country that they would be loath to get involved in such a dirty business. But in fact, the imams who do the preaching in the mosques in Pakistan, apparently, from what according to this book, they preach that it's all right for Muslims to deal in heroin because it will help to destroy the infidel. In other words, you and me over here in Western Europe. And the farmers in Afghanistan grow these poppies because largely they have no choice, because the bandits, the Taliban and all these other guys involved in this drugs business force them to do it. And if they don't do it, naughty things happen to them, and you can guess the kind of things that do. And these guys are really vicious, because this kind of business is cutthroat and people would kill each other for this kind of wealth. Now, during the 1920s in America, how on earth they managed it, I don't know, but they passed laws outlawing alcohol, the manufacture and sale of alcohol. Can you believe this? It was amazing that they ever did it. But all it did was push the production, sale and distribution of alcohol underground. And gangsters became very rich, providing people with alcohol. Even, it said, the father of the late President Kennedy was involved in bootlegging, as it was called. And this is the problem, you see, that if you ban something and make it illegal, people who are ruthless will come along and get round the law and make vast sums of money by doing so. And effectively, banning these drugs, heroin, cocaine, etc., has caused more problems than we ever dreamed of. Not only in Afghanistan, but in every city all over Europe. There are millions hooked on heroin in Russia. The route with which these drugs reach Western Europe seems to be from Afghanistan into Pakistan, into Iran or by sea from Pakistan to the Middle East, through Turkey, over land from Iran through Turkey and into Western Europe. And the most that seems to be caught by the customs and by the drug enforcement departments of our police services is about 10 or 15%, I gather. Now, so many people's lives are ruined by heroin. Once they get hooked, they can't escape from it, although they do say that nicotine is more addictive than heroin. It's easier to give up heroin than to give up smoking. But these poor people who get hooked on it, often at an early age, and often with the encouragement of other people who use the stuff, are hooked for life, because then they have to go out and find the money to pay for their every fix, their injections. Because heroin is usually injected, whereas cocaine is often snorted, although they do inject it as well. Now, if they stopped making it illegal and made it legal and provided clinics where people who are hooked on these drugs can get their daily fixes, which is what they're doing in Switzerland now, and we used to do it here at one time many years ago. Yes, we did. All the crime, huge, enormous amounts of crime, incredible sums of money, and untold misery would be wiped away almost overnight. Now, the people who are frightened of this suggestion seem to think that the minute it's made legal, 2/3 of the population is going to rush out and try it. It isn't so, believe me. Believe me, I can assure you it isn't so. Most people are not stupid. So let's give a thought to it. I read on the BBC News website that Jonathan Dimbleby, who runs the BBC's Question Time on Radio 4 on a Friday night, and who I think interferes a little bit too much when he's doing that programme, but nevertheless, he's in favour of legalising hard drugs. He believes the war against drugs has been lost, and it has, just as the law against alcohol has been lost. I mean, we can bring in the death penalty, no matter how many people you execute for it. The possibility of untold wealth for a little bit of effort will bring more people to the surface. I mean, if they found gold in the hills in Scotland, thousands of people from all over Europe would be heading in that direction. Well, this is what happens with drugs. It's very easy to grow poppies in Afghanistan. It's the perfect climate for it. And they make thousands of tons of the stuff. And then it's processed with chemicals and shipped either overland or by sea to Western Europe. And people make billions out of it. Absolute billions. Well, I don't see why our young people should get killed fighting for a country which, as soon as we leave, will revert back to the Stone Age and will go on producing all the world's heroin. If we made it legal, we would immediately cut off the supply of funds to these insurgents, and they could no longer afford to carry out the war, the insurgency which they're doing now in Afghanistan. Just think about it. And all the problems in Mexico, where thousands are being killed and mutilated and murdered because of the cocaine trade, and in Colombia and in other states in South America, all that would be quietly die down and go away. Doesn't it make sense? Just to me. I mean, if somebody as intelligent as David Dimbleby, or Jonathan Dimbleby, I beg your pardon, we'll get those two mixed up, is in favour of it, then I can't be far wrong, can I? So there you have it. God bless, while it's still legal in the UK to say God bless. Take care and bye for now.